Did I or did I not try to tell you a couple of weeks ago that the Buffalo Bills were not rebuilding or tanking, whatever? I did try to tell you that. You can go back. I got all my videos up here for like basically ever. In the past 8 years. They're all here. And some of them are probably so dumb. I would love to go back and watch them and see how my thought process has sort of moved along throughout the years. But just a couple weeks ago I told you the Bills weren't tanking, and now they're 3-1. So not that I'm taking credit for that or anything, but I caught a lot of flack for that, and I guess it's good to say I told you so in your face, something like that. Not that it's it's not a done deal. The Bills are good, but they look good. They might be good. They're good on defense. They just beat the Atlanta Falcons, who went to the Super Bowl last year and basically won it. Like the fourth quarter didn't happen. That's not real. Like it's fixed. It was obviously fixed. I'm being a little dramatic right now. I know. But like it was obviously fixed, right? That's not real. The Falcons won the Super Bowl. They had the league MVP in Matt Ryan. Granted, Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu went out. But you know what? You don't have to apologize for that. You shouldn't apologize for that. That's not your fault. Things happen. Like, it is what it is. You play who you play. You play who they put out there. They didn't put Julio Jones out there because he couldn't do it. It's whatever. It is what it is. Like I said. Super pumped, obviously, that the Bills moved to 3-1. New England lost, so they're in sole possession of first place in the AFC East. 3-1 through the first quarter of the season. Puts them, #on pace, for 12-4 throughout the regular season. Do I think that's realistic? Probably not. But I am very encouraged by what I've seen from the defense, even a little bit from the offense. It was better this past week. Mostly the coaching, though. There's a couple of things I want to point out there, real quickly from the coaching. Like, well, obviously, being the #1 scoring defense, obviously McDermott's making a difference. And I probably even said this last week. How would you even tell me that Rex Ryan wasn't the problem defensively? Try to construct an argument where you say, Greg, here's why Rex Ryan wasn't the problem. And Rob Ryan and whatever, like the Ryan brothers. I think it's pretty obvious. The Bills run a pretty, from what I can tell, a pretty vanilla type of scheme. They keep it simple. Everybody knows what they're expected to do. Nobody tries to be selfish. And they just do, like I said, they do what they're expected to do. They don't blitz a lot, but when they do blitz, it's designed, it's designed well. I've liked everything I've seen. Literally, how could you hate it? How could you hate it? They didn't allow a passing touchdown until this past week, until Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was the first quarterback to throw a passing touchdown on them in week 4. And they still won on the road. Biggest road win, people are saying, since like the Super Bowl years, maybe. It's the biggest road win I can think of in 10 years. I remember the Sean Taylor game. The week Sean Taylor passed away, R.I.P. The Bills went into Washington and beat the Redskins to get to 6-6. They went on to beat the winless Dolphins the next week, and then they had a very meaningful game. I know this sounds like a joke, but it's not. A very meaningful game with the Cleveland Browns, and it was snowy and hellacious, and I was there, and it was terrible, and the Bills lost 8-0. Brutal. So hopefully, like, that doesn't sort of history repeat itself. Bills still aren't getting a ton of love. Oh, coaching decisions that I want to talk about. Sorry, I'll get back to that in a second. The end of the half. There's a couple, 30 seconds left? I don't know how much time is left, really. Bills first down, snap it, deep ball to Kalen Clay. Unreal. Thank you. Like, the Madden mentality. I'm going to try this. I have to try to get down the field, maybe get some more points. Whatever, it didn't work. It's as good as a punt if it gets picked off. Just didn't work. Okay, fine. Live to fight another day. The pooch kick after the penalty on the whenever the Bills, they scored some points and then they kicked off from the 50 and they tried that pooch kick Like, some people just, oh, well, just blast it through the end zone. And they almost got it. They forced a fumble, and they almost got it. I am very happy, very pleased. How could you not be very pleased with what Sean McDermott's done in just 4 short weeks? The Bills, they really should be 4-0. They're like a Zay Jones drop away from possibly being 4-0. And I'm not worried about Zay Jones, really. He had another drop this past week. I think he's going to be fine. I really think he can play football. I think he's good. So, he'll get past it. Like I said last week, just throw him the ball, let him catch it, let him feel it. And he did have an 18-yard catch later in the game against Atlanta. So, not worried about him moving forward. Like I said, Buffalo's still not getting a lot of love, but fine. Think we're the underdogs. I don't care. I really don't care. The defense is, like I said, unbelievable. And you know what? Part of it is because of the offense. Most of the reasons people aren't giving the Bills love is because the offense is... The Bills are first in points allowed and 23rd in points for. They're 9th in yards allowed and 29th in yards for. So like that, I get that. So everyone's like, well, the Bills don't have enough firepower. This is literally word for word what I heard on NFL Live today. The Bills don't have enough firepower to compete with elite teams. Did we just beat an elite team? Maybe 2 elite teams? Denver's first overall in defense. First overall against the run. Granted, we didn't have a good day running the ball, but we beat them. We don't have enough firepower to compete with elite teams. We beat Denver and Atlanta. In Atlanta. The last 2 Super Bowl champions. Just kidding. The last 1 3/4 Super Bowl champions. Just beat them. Take that. What's your point? It may be not sustainable. I get that. Maybe not sustainable. But the Bills' offense has 1 turnover. It happened on the first drive of the season, right? Or second drive of the season. The drop by Clay. It's into the interception. Like, when you don't turn the ball over, you make the other team drive the length of the field against your defense. And that is... when your defense is finally good, it hasn't been good with Rex the past couple of years, but when everybody understands their roles and everything, like, that's what makes the team good. Like, this is how it should have been under Rex. If Rex wasn't, I don't know, psychotic, maniacal, like, mad scientist type of coach, I guess. Obviously got a couple calls in the game, too. The Trey White thing. I think it's a fumble. I don't think I'm being biased, because he's back. Ball clearly comes loose before he starts this motion. He like pushes it. There's not a throw. You know how I know it's not a complete pass, because or an incomplete pass, because you see the hand go forward, and like look at the ball. The ball's like a duck, it's just like spinning and falls. That's not a pass. It's not because he got hit. It's because Jerry Hughes knocked the ball out. And then he just pushed it forward. I think it's a touchdown. Always seems like calls haven't gone the Bills' way. We talked about this last week too. Like, the calls don't go the Bills' way. But, like, you know what? When you win and the calls go your way, it's just like, whatever. And when you lose and the calls don't go your way, you complain about them. Because a lot of Falcons fans were. That's just how it works. Anyway, 3-1. Let's go. Bengals this week. Bengals. This game looked like a pretty winnable game. Like, we were thinking maybe last week, like, well, we'll probably get beat by Atlanta. I even said that, admittedly. We'll probably get beat by Atlanta, and then we could just focus on getting 3-2 against Cincinnati. Like, Cincinnati, this game maybe sort of kind of the Bills maybe need more than Atlanta at this point, because it's a conference game, and conference record is one of the tiebreakers. I mean, if the Bills are 4-1 and 3-0 in the conference at the bye, I don't think it really could have gone much better. In the first 5 games, at least, first third of the season. Cincinnati fired their offensive coordinator after week 2. They didn't score a touchdown for the first 2 games of the season. They're 2 home games. They scored 9 points total. They got shut out by Baltimore. They scored 9 points against Houston, lost to Deshaun Watson. They are still pretty good on defense. I will give them that. They're third overall in points allowed, third overall in yards allowed on defense. 27th overall still on offense, but improving with Bill Lazor as the offensive coordinator. They've now scored 7 touchdowns over the past 2 games. Granted, they played Cleveland. And one of those touchdowns is on defense, so I guess offensively it's just 6. So they play Cleveland and Green Bay. Sorry, lost my train of thought there for a second. But they've been good on defense because Aaron Rodgers is the only quarterback to throw. Seriously, Aaron Rodgers is the only quarterback to throw for more than 125 yards against them. He threw for like 313, but 125 yards. They held Joe Flacco to like 121, Watson to 125, Kaiser to 118. He got replaced by Kevin Hogan through 65 yards. They've been good. I got to give them their due there. I think that this is still, like, the Bills had probably one of their best defensive performances last year against Cincinnati. If you remember, I went to the game. It was 16-12. It was pretty boring. Nugent missed a couple extra points. Otherwise, the Bills, may have lost that game because Cincinnati ended up throwing a Hail Mary that was incomplete. They did have Tyler Eifert in that game. They probably won't have Tyler Eifert this week. They did not have A.J. Green because he got hurt in the first drive, and they should have A.J. Green this week because, and A.J. Green's been one of the better receivers in the league so far for years now, and definitely so far this year. I do think Eifert is a bit of a loss. I know that Tyler Kroft came through big for them last week. It's just the Bills were able, under Rex Ryan, to hold Cincinnati down last year. So, and granted, there's personnel changes, absolutely. I think that Cincinnati can't run the ball. They really can't. Like, Joe Mixon had 17 carries for 29 yards last week, and he had 10 on one of them. So his other 16 carries went for 19 yards. And Jeremy Hill had like 6 carries for 16 yards, and he had a 13-yard carry. So he had 5 carries for 3 yards the rest of the way. So, I mean, they are really struggling running the football. And I think that plays in the Bills' advantage. Like, if it were in Buffalo, I would feel pretty confident about the Bills winning. The road game, I shouldn't feel that. They just beat Atlanta. But I've talked about this before too. Teams coming off emotional highs and whatnot. Not a huge, it's. I hope their mindset is right. They sure are saying the right things and everything, but I would like to see it. I do think it's a game they should win because Cleveland is the only team that Cincinnati has beaten. They beat them 31-7 last week, and they finally put up. Well, they had a 301-yard performance against Green Bay, but they had 350 yards against Cleveland. They had 221 in week 1, 295, so it's gone steadily up over 4 weeks. They still only have one 100-yard rushing day. That was against Green Bay. So, and then I think the Bills are pretty good against run. I know Tevin Coleman got loose. Devontae Freeman got loose a little bit too. The Bills allowed something like 140 rushing yards last week, but to a good Atlanta team, to a Super Bowl caliber team. Super Bowl caliber running backs, guys that scored touchdowns in the Super Bowl. So I don't Cincinnati I've said this. I probably said this last year too. How does Marvin Lewis still have a job? It's amazing. He hasn't won a playoff game. I think he's been there since 2003. They haven't won a playoff game. 14 years. It seems like it might now that the Bengals at 1-3. Maybe 1-4 if the Bills can beat them, then it might be trending finally downward for Marvin Lewis. But who knows? And maybe even Andy Dalton. But the Bills still have to beat them. I'm going to pick the Bills to beat them. I don't think it's going to be pretty, even though they're 3-point underdogs. I think it's got all the makings of like another game like last year, like 16-12. I'll say 19-14 Bills. Let me know what you think, guys. Let me know how you're feeling. You got to be excited, right? Bye week coming up. The idea of being 4-1 in the bye week, that's exciting. I know the Bills were 3-0 a couple years ago with Fitz. Ran into the Bengals, fell to 3-1, spiraled all the way out of control from there. But hopefully that's not what happens again this year. Let's see what we got. Hit me up, guys. Enjoy your weekend. As always, go Bills.